nothing could deter me from wearing stripes. I'm from Connecticut. We're born in stripes, basically. Hey, Harper's BAZAAR. I'm Allison Williams, and I'm breaking down how I brought some of my characters to life. This is Building Character. I am okay. I may not seem okay, and I may not be okay now, but I'm like, okay. First up is Marnie Michaels from Girls. The audition process for Girls, when I look back on it, it feels like insane coincidence, but here was the sequence of events. I made a series of live music videos with some friends of mine in New York City the summer after I graduated from college. I upload the video October 10th or something. By the 12th, I had my audition for Girls because Judd Apatow saw the YouTube video and was like, that's Marnie. I was like, obviously I'm not gonna get this audition. It's my first audition. And then I found out that they wanted to send me to New York to test for the show. And we did a table read, and the rest is history.
You could like totally make money off how pretty you are.
Thank you. My gosh, that's so nice. I mean, I don't think I'm like a model.
No, not a model.
No, I wasn't talking about modeling.
Jen Rogan, our costume designer, was so good at figuring out how to match Marnie's energy at any given moment in the show to her clothing. The dress that she wears to the office party to sing Stronger is something that I come across quite a lot. Like a B-grade, really small town real estate ad was Marnie's style for like most of the show. And I know I'm saying that in this, so you know, we're not like strangers, we're cousins. And then she'd have these like boho moments that were kind of jarring because they didn't come from within. They were just physical expressions of Desi's aesthetic later on in the show when she was like singing Marnie. At her core, she's a conservative dresser who wants to push her boundaries, but like it's not in her heart to do that. One thing that's fascinating is like the level of resonance of people running into their ex-boyfriends in a way that reminds them of Panic at Central Park is like shocking to me. I'm like, what is happening out here in the world of people just like bumping into exes that are like maybe on heroin and being like, should we for a day? People talk about it to me as if it's the single most relatable thing that happened in the show. And I'm like, what is the lifestyle that you guys are living and why didn't I have access to it? It's very dramatic. When we were shooting it, I saw it as an almost like dream-like escape where Marnie was like going through the thought experiment of like, what if, you know? But the way people talk to me about it is like, they're like, that feeling when? And I'm like, what? What version, what V life are you guys having?
It's easy, sir. You just think lovely, wonderful thoughts, and up you go!
Now we're gonna talk about Peter Pan from Peter Pan Live in 2014. What? It was 2014? 11 years ago, I was flying towards Christopher Walken being like, I hope he's standing where he's supposed to be standing. I was auditioning for a whole other movie, but Neil and Craig, who produced Peter Pan, were also producing this movie. And so they were just like inundated with videos of me. And they were in the process of casting Peter Pan. And they were like, you know what? We could offer her Peter Pan. What they didn't know is that I grew up like obsessed with Peter Pan. I immediately said yes. And then they were like, Christopher Walken's Captain Hook. And I was like, oh my God, that's insane. And then we started talking about the costume because then I was like, oh yes, I'm joining a long tradition of women playing this part. The practical realities of the costume are one of the reasons that women so often play Peter Pan. It's like flying and harnesses and all of that stuff is, you know, anatomically more comfortable. I remember the moment right before I flew onto people's live televisions so well. If a muscle tenses weirdly, or if you like let go of the fabric weirdly, you're gonna start spinning. And the question is just how fast and in what direction. When I landed from that moment and I had flown in not backwards, I was like, okay, I can do the rest of this, this is fine. As a theater kid at my core, I just wanted to do it right. I'm really relieved that I did. Hey, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm just looking for my camera.
It's right here. Now we're gonna talk about Rose Armitage from Get Out in 2017. Jordan Peele had been writing this script and had been working on this story for a long time. He needed someone that like the audience was gonna trust right away and then like not think too hard about for the rest of the movie until it was time for them to be like, wait a second. He also knew that that person was gonna have to be willing to be like among the more villainous people in movies, like a horrible white supremacist evil person. He had seen me in Girls and then he saw me in Peter Pan and he was like, she'll do anything. That's kind of true. I was still playing Marnie, the show was still shooting. And so this gave me the opportunity to use that to just lull you into this false sense of like, oh, I know this girl. And then it's like, no, you don't. When I think about Rose's costumes, I guess primarily I think of like 3. One is the denim dress that she wears because it's so like benign. It's perfect. The second one I think of is the red and white striped sweater. That party scene is so tense and wonderful. And then the last one I think of is her white button-down Oxford and her khakis. So simple.
Does it deter you from wearing stripes?
I would never wear the sweater that Rose wears in Get Out. Let me just be very clear. But nothing could deter me from wearing stripes. I'm from Connecticut. We're born in stripes, basically. That is what it is. But to wear that exact sweater would be a very weird move.
Did you hurt someone?
God, I hope not. Because if I did, we'd both be in a lot of trouble.
Now we're gonna talk about Megan, my character Gemma, in 2022. I read the script and I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is what everyone I know is so worried about that's becoming new parents. The stress of the intersection between children and technology. And I was like, this does the same thing that Get Out does, which is it takes this worry that is so shared and puts it in this packaging that makes it digestible and talk aboutable, and then like puts it out into the world. And I just saw the vision. I thought Gerard was brilliant, and I was like, let's do this. So it was an offer, and it was the first time I was an official executive producer on something. So that was also a milestone for me.
What are you doing?
I was really wrong about the dance. I read the dance on the page and I was like, I don't get this. Like, why is she dancing? Everyone was like, yes. And I was like, yeah, but like, why? And they were like, I know. And I was like, what am I missing? Cut to, it's the most iconic part of the movie. Obviously, once I saw it cut into the movie, I was like, okay, I do kind of get it. A paper cutter in a hallway at a tech company, I was like, what are we doing? But again, like it just, all of those choices were so precise, so peculiar, and that's exactly why they resonated so much.
So then were you totally on board for all the gimmicks in the second one?
I was so on board with her serenading me in the second movie. Megan is a Marnie. She sings when no one wants her to. And in that way, I find her relatable. And in that way, I made her in my own image. Liz E. Gardner designed the costumes on the first movie, but it's more accurate to say that my unborn son designed the costumes on the first movie because I was pregnant when we filmed the first Megan. We shot it in my second trimester. By the end of the movie, it literally looked like I was hiding a basketball under my sweater. Going into the second movie with Jeriana San Juan, who did those costumes, she had gone through a lot in the first movie and had transformed into kind of a public figure, all kind of culminating in a few finale-ish looks. One of them was a sequin dress that she like didn't belong in the first place and ended up getting stuck in for like a whole chunk of the movie. I was very obsessed with the silhouette of this dress. I wanted to look, as the kids say, snatched. But let's just say I had a fucking baby, so like the silhouette isn't always giving, you know? So I had Jeriana build a corset into the dress, and I wore like, it took like 10 minutes just to get the under stuff on for this costume. On the last day, I was like, it's the last day. We're sitting in a car. I'm not putting all the unders on. I got a little lazy, I'm not gonna lie. And I just put the dress on without all of the unders. It looked identical. I want those breaths back.
Claire Grant!
Can't be good.
Get in the car! 1 second.
And now we're gonna talk about Morgan Grant from Regretting You. This is a genre that is like completely foreign land to me. I haven't been in romance world before or drama or anything like that. Becoming a mom definitely helped like unlock a part of me. I could pretend that part, but it felt like deeply accessible to me because of the fact that I was actually a mom. I didn't become a mom at 17 though. There was like an imagination leap required to be able to play Morgan, who's raising a 17-year-old girl and ushering her through these very treacherous waters of teenage years and going off to college and first loves and all of those things while processing a deep loss that is complicated, to say the least.
Sometimes it scares me how good of a liar you are.
I am in the Colleen Hoover fandom, and so I know what it means to finish one of her books and the way you feel linked to these characters. So to be part of the crew that's like, okay, the definitive Morgan house is here, the definitive cast is here. Whatever was in your mind's eye, wipe it out, replace it with this. Like, I don't know, that's intimidating. We really did our best to try to like be faithful to the source material, which we loved. I'm biased, but I do think we did a good job of adapting what's there and making it three-dimensional, and I hope people agree. Thank you so much for watching, and please go see Regretting You. We're really proud of it. I hope you like it.